Hello and welcome back to SportsZone. We're kicking it off with the important stuff like we usually do. Studio 90 is back after a 2-week hiatus. I'm joined by Aaron, and a lot's been going on in the 2-week absence of Studio 90. Champions League first legs have been played and setting up for some pretty interesting second legs. I think we'll talk about those matches. We'll start with probably what a lot of people saw was the marquee matchup of the round. That was Tottenham against Juventus in Italy. The tie lived up to all the hype, and even though Juventus, a team that's typically defensive-minded, in this game had a lot of goals. Do you think any side benefits from this 2-2 result more?
Well, I think it was a great game. I think Tottenham benefit just because they got those 2 away goals. I think nobody really thought that they would even score against that Juventus defense away from home in Italy, but they scored 2 goals. Harry Kane had a great goal, and I think Tottenham came out attacking. They had a great attacking intent, went down early but came back. And I think it really showed Tottenham's quality and showed that even though some think of them as sort of a smaller club when it comes to the big clubs in England, that they can compete with the big guns in Europe like Juventus. So definitely a very impressive performance for Tottenham. And it's still going to be tough going home because Juventus are a great team. They're especially great on the road. But I think that with those 2 away goals, that Tottenham have a great chance to advance to the next round.
And do you think they will get on to the quarterfinals?
It's tough to say. I still think Juventus, because they have more quality, will advance, even though Tottenham got those 2 away goals. I think that Tottenham going to Wembley in Europe, it's a little bit of dicey, so I think that even though they got those 2 away goals, Juventus will advance to the quarterfinals.
And Juventus hopefully will be boosted by the injury returns of guys like Blas, Matuidi, Juan Cuadrado, Paulo Dybala, who are all injured for the first leg. So with those big guns, it should make for an interesting second leg. Another first round of 16 tie that sort of had a finals feel to it going in was PSG playing against Real Madrid. You had the subplot of Neymar going against Real Madrid again, circulating rumors there. But Aaron, really, Neymar was disappointing and Cristiano Ronaldo rising to the occasion again. Do you think with Real Madrid winning that first leg 3-1, PSG has any hope going back to France of overturning this?
Even though PSG are down 3-1, I still do think they have a chance in the second leg. But like you mentioned, Neymar was very, very disappointing in that first leg. It seemed as though he was showboating, trying to take 2 or 3 players on at a time when he should have been passing to Cavani or Mbappe. So definitely a disappointing performance from Neymar. And like you said, Cristiano Ronaldo, like he does, always rises to the occasion. But PSG still have a chance in this tie. You know, they're down 3-1. They still do have that away goal. But when you've got Neymar, Cavani, and Mbappe up top, you're always going to be able to score goals. You're always going to be able to keep the defense on their heels. So even though they are down 3-1, they have a chance. I still do think Real Madrid will advance because they have more quality and they have more experience in the Champions League, winning it the past 2 years. And even though they haven't been playing well in La Liga, if they do advance, they have a great chance of winning this whole thing just because Cristiano Ronaldo is a guy who always rises to the occasion in the Champions League. They have other guys who have experience in that realm. So if they advance, then I definitely think that they're the favorites going forward.
Yeah, it's mind-bogglingly the polarizing form between Real Madrid in Europe versus in the league, but they always get the job done. As you mentioned, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring twice, now 100 goals in the Champions League for Real Madrid. Even in the worst season of his career, he's still getting it done in Europe, and that will make for an interesting second leg for sure. Another tie, we seem to have like 3 final caliber matchups in this round of 16. Chelsea playing Barcelona. Those teams sort of entered the game with differing form. Chelsea really suffering in the league, even in performances in the FA Cup, but they were able to grind out a 1-1 result against Barcelona. Do you think that that's something that they can replicate going to Spain, or is sort of a one-off type thing and Chelsea may be dead in the water?
You know, I really don't see Chelsea having any chance of advancing. Like you said, at home, they grinded out that 1-1 result, and they played so well throughout the entire game, and to give up that late goal to Lionel Messi was so tough for them because they were playing well, and going 1-0 into the Camp Nou would have given them a better chance to advance. But I just think that away goal from Barcelona, it kind of leaves Chelsea dead in the water because they go away to a team that's been playing so well. Chelsea just lost this morning to Manchester United. They haven't been playing well. They're dipping form along with Barcelona playing so well both in the league and in Europe. I just can't see Chelsea beating Barcelona, especially the way Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez are performing.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you there. So those were our sort of three prominent matchups. Another sort of interesting result maybe people wouldn't have expected was Manchester United really struggling away in Seville against Sevilla. David De Gea showing why he's the best shot stopper in the world. But a sort of a subplot in that game is the sort of Jose Mourinho versus Paul Pogba and his agent. And Aaron, do you think that's intruding or becoming a distraction that's impacting the way Manchester United plays?
It's certainly becoming a distraction. I think that's the question that Jose Mourinho keeps getting asked at his press conferences, and it's just not going away anytime soon because Paul Pogba, along with the fact that he's being bent, he's just not been playing well right now. So Jose Mourinho's been put in a tough spot. But going back to that United-Sevilla tie, United played terribly that entire game. Should have lost the game 2 or 3-0 if we're being quite honest here. If it wasn't for the heroics of David De Gea, we could be looking at a completely different tie right here. And I think it kind of goes back to Jose Mourinho's tactics. He goes into that game no really attacking intent, telling his team to just sit back and defend. And I think that hurt them because they weren't pressuring Sevilla. Sevilla were just able to play it out of the back and play it forward. And I think Jose Mourinho will definitely have to look at his tactics and say, should we go more attacking in the second leg? But like you said, that tension between Jose Mourinho and Paul Pogba doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon and definitely could distract the team going into the second leg.
Certainly. They seem to be able to bury the hatchet, at least for the time being, winning this weekend. Paul Pogba back in the starting lineup against Chelsea, but it remains to be seen whether this is just a smooth over of a bump or whether there's smooth sailing in the horizon for Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho. The other 4 matchups, 3 blowouts by teams, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich, and then sort of a surprising result, potentially, Shakhtar Donetsk at home beating Roma 2-1. Aaron, do you think where we see a lot of these big teams sort of performing well, a team like Shakhtar or Roma could sort of be a dark horse in this Champions League where we have a lot of front-loaded power teams?
Yeah, definitely surprising to see Shakhtar win this game just because they're playing Ukraine. They're not the biggest club, but they were able to beat a team in Roma who have been playing well in Serie A, so that was definitely a surprising result. I still think Roma are going to be able to win at home and come out of this tie, and I can definitely see Roma being a bit of a dark horse going forward. They have Edin Dzeko, who's been playing great this season, who's been bagging in goals, and definitely he's a guy that can propel them in the next round, maybe playing against a bigger club who won't expect to lose. I definitely think Roma are a team that, even though many people aren't looking at them as a team that can make it to the semifinal or even the final, can maybe even be a dark horse in this competition.
Yeah, and certainly, all that said, it's setting up for a really exciting second match day in the round of 16. We'll keep an eye on those matches going forward, but that's all the time we have for this edition of Studio 90. Stick around for more SportsZone after this.